Okay. I think we are live. Let me just double check everything. I have a delayed response from my notifications. There I am. Love is truth. Hey. Welcome back to Outta My Chelle. Can't wiggle too much. I'm still in a little bit of pain. I'm still trying to see. Let's see. Before I dive right in, want to make sure that you can see me. Come on, get out of there. Get out of there. Want to make sure you can see me. The camera's okay.
I think we are
I
live.
think
Let
we're
me
good. We're good. We're good.
Hey.
Perfect.
Welcome back
Okay.
to Out of My
Let's get out of there and let's turn this off. Okay, so we are good.
Make sure you can
We
see
are.
me.
We are a go. Okay, perfect. Welcome back. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday, y'all. Like my t-shirt. Well, it's not actually a shirt. It's one of those oversized shirts with pockets, can be worn as a dress. I love these little things. I have quite a few of them. And it says, oh, let it be. You see that? Oh, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yes. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Yes, whatever it is, let it be. Yeah, you can pray about it. You can tarry for it. You can ask God. You can cry. You can get upset. But at the end, we have very little control over many things. We can barely control ourselves. So, I am so happy to be here. Let me just go back here and see what is going on my screen. Okay, we're here. Perfect. So, happy Friday again. Tonight we are talking about on Out of My Show, we are discussing love is. And tonight's topic is love is truth. So on Out of My Show, I do all things to help women create a safe passageway to coming out of their shell. What does that mean? That means coming out of the thing that you've built, whether consciously or subconsciously, whether that thing you built to protect yourself, that thing that you built to protect yourself also prevents goodness and love and hope and joy from getting in. So the more that we create these shells to protect us, the more we are actually I can't think of the word right now, but we are actually preventing ourselves from experiencing life in its fullness. So I help women through my testimonies, through my stories, through my coaching certifications, of which I have two, through being a human, a believer, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a mother, a wife, a daughter, an overcomer of so many things, and one who's experienced a lot, right? I've gathered a lot of wisdom because of a lot of my experiences. So I decided to apply the wisdom as opposed to just leaving it as knowledge, right? Knowledge unapplied is not wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge applied, whatever you've learned, and now you're applying it to better your life. That is wisdom. So I decided to use that to not only come out of my shell, but also help you, cheerlead you, to help you to come on, girl, come on, boy. You got this. You can get out of your shell. You can receive joy, and you can receive the fullness of joy through God by walking in faith to come out of your shell. So I'm so happy you're here. So happy. Um, yeah. And when you come in, please do me a favor. Click like, share. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to this page, like the video. Please show up in the comments. Even let me know if you'd like to be included on this broadcast. I will invite you in if you have something to say about love is and love is true. So this month we are focusing on our series Love Is. Last week we talked about love is identity. And of course, we define our identity through Christ, through the word, through what God says and who God says that we are. Because if you don't love you, if you don't have a solid blueprint on how to love you, how to identify, how to show up in this earth, loving yourself, choosing the right things for your life because you love yourself, then it's going to be close to impossible to really wholly and in a healthy way love others. So, first, we have to focus on identity before we can start walking around talking about, I love you, sis. I love you, bro. I love you, girl. Oh, you my everything. But you don't love yourself. It's going to be hard or impossible. So this week we are talking about love is ... Love is truth, because if we do not walk in the truth of what love is, if we do not walk into truth of who we are and how we're showing up in the world and how we're showing up in love and in relationships, then we will destroy the love that God has given us. And or we will stop ourselves, we will hinder ourselves from even experiencing the love or even identifying the love. Some people love you and you've identified it as something else because your definition of what love is misinterpreted, it's misrepresented. You don't really have a full definition of what love is. So, because tonight we're talking about love is truth, every single thing we will talk about as it pertains to love will be focused up around God and the Word. Because how can we define love in this world, in this earth, something that we didn't create, an emotion that we didn't even choose to define? How do we talk about it without talking about the one who is love, who created love, who walked in love, and that is God? So last week was identity, this week is truth. And the truth is, so I'm going to be reading from my laptop here about love. And then you also saw in my description, I think, of this video, a reference to Malcolm and Marie and also Chris and Paige. So I will incorporate all of that into tonight's topic because I have some things to say, and I don't talk unless there's something that I think that could help others and say those things. Hello, sis. Hello, elegant granny. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. So happy you're here. Hello. I hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful Friday. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. One of my Perry girl sisters. So, love is truth. So, I'm going to start here first and then I'll go into the word about what love is. So, I was watching this week, my sister, Sherry, she asked me if I was going to watch Malcolm and Marie. And I had seen the preview and I was like, no, I'm not interested. Nothing in me said, girl, you ought to watch that. Ooh, you can't wait. Nothing in me said that. Nothing in my shanda said, yeah, this is a movie you want to see. But after we talked, and we talked late that night, we were on the phone probably 4 hours because that's how we get down. When we talk, we don't talk every day, but when we do talk, it's 4 to 5, 6 hour conversations. So I was thinking about it and I was awake. It was late, and that's not an anomaly for me. That's something that's quite common. But I was awake and I said, well, let me watch it. Let me just see. Maybe I prejudged the movie too quickly, right? So I watched Malcolm and Marie. Now, keep in mind, the night that I watched Malcolm and Marie, there's another show that comes on. It wasn't on that particular night, but there's the show that I love. It's called Married at First Sight, and it's a Lifetime show. Love this show until this season. Okay, I'll get back to that. So I'm going to intertwine both of these topics. So I watched Malcolm and Marie, and I was at a loss for words when I was done. I think part of the movie, the promo is, this is not a movie. Wait a minute. This is not a love story. This is a story of love. I finished watching that movie and I was like, see, this is why this world it looks like it does. That is not a story of love. There was nothing. And spoiler alerts, I will be talking a little bit about it. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to, you might want to get off of this video until after you've seen the movie. The movie is not about love. If we're defining love as toxic, then yeah, it was about love. If we're defining love as derogatory and disrespectful and abrasive and abusive, then yeah, it was a story about love. But I'm sorry, that's not what love is. The movie was a movie about a very toxic decision for two people to say that they're creating a relationship. The movie was highly toxic, and it was debasing. There were so many issues in this movie within this couple who said the boyfriend, because I don't know, they weren't married. The boyfriend kept saying, oh my gosh, I just love you. Every time they argued for one full night. Again, spoiler alerts from Malcolm and Marie. I'll be talking a little bit about it. Not too many details, but it was a movie about this long-lasting argument. This argument lasted all night. And again, in the promos, it says, this is not a love story. This is a story of love. Wrong. That is a story of toxicity. That is a story. Hey, Sabrina girl. Hey girl, that I'm talking about Malcolm and Marie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to hear about it, you might not want to watch this video until after. Girl, the movie highly toxic relationship. I hate to even call it a relationship, but a highly toxic interaction between two individuals, Malcolm and Marie, boyfriend, girlfriend living together. Uh, when I tell you they had an argument because he didn't acknowledge her at this movie premiere. And, you know, she had done so many things for him and been there to support him and all these things. And he thanked everyone else, but didn't thank her, didn't acknowledge her. And she was fit to be tied, as the old folks say, right? Um, Obviously, she should have been upset. You said, I'm not going to watch it from your review. Sounds like Sabrina, seriously, when I saw the preview, I was like, nah, I'm good. And then my sister, she's not really my sister, but we're as close as sisters. She was talking and she's like, Shell, you gonna watch it? And I said, nah, that's a hard pass. And then after we got off the phone and I couldn't sleep, I decided, well, let me just not prejudge the movie. I could have done without it. This man dug into this woman's past because she was trying to hold him accountable for not acknowledging her. He brought up the fact that she was previously on drugs, she was a drug addict. He talked about how she had attempted suicide, calling her weak, talking about all of his former lovers, and gave detailed information about these former lovers and how the story wasn't, because she thought his book, not his book, his movie was about her life story. And to put her in her place, he said, you know, I'm going to tell you who this is about. And this part of the movie was about this woman that I slept with, and I actually miss her. And we did this at this hotel. When I tell you, the most disrespectful, degrading, debasing, uh, a movie of disregard, a movie of selfishness, a movie of narcissism, a movie of complete and utter abuse, mental, emotional abuse. That's what the movie was about, with two people living together. And now she wasn't the healthiest of them all either. She had her own issues, but it was so awful. And to put love in the same category as this movie, girl, yes, yes, Sabrina. It was, if you want to watch a train wreck, watch the movie. If you want to watch casualties of war, watch the movies. You know, you want to watch people getting totally disrespected, disregarded, watch the movie. You might enjoy it, but I don't know what kind of people would really want to watch that. Now, if you do want to be reminded, because it can be a cautionary tale of what not to open your life to. It could be a cautionary tale to show you narcissism at its worst, okay? It can be a cautionary tale of showing you why it's probably not a good idea to dive in head first when you're moving in with someone. It could be that if you want that. And that I get. But to put love, I was just like, this is not love. But it shows the temperature. It reveals the temperature of this world and where we are and how we think love is. You know, love is hard. So glad I'm not into TV. All TV is not bad TV, but I get that. That's good. I'm sure you're an avid reader. I love that. But this movie was just, and again, as a cautionary tale, yeah, you probably could watch it. And what are the signs, right? But it was so, my heart broke for her. And I know it was a movie, but it was like the fact that there are so many people, male and female, who are actively engaged and involved in not in movies, in relationships like these today. Um, it would not have surprised me if the movie escalated into physical harm, which it did not. But it wouldn't have surprised me because it was like that was the next step, right? And so tonight we're talking about love is truth. So we're talking about Malcolm and Reed. That's one thing. Then I also love, as I said before, Married at First Sight. I love stories about love. I love stories about hope and hopefulness, and I love humor. I love to laugh. So a good comedy, girl, count me in. Okay. Um, Married at First Sight is a reality show, but it's not the typical reality show like the housewife stuff. I don't watch any of those. The Love and Basketballs. I don't watch any of those. I don't like ratchet TV. Not judging anybody who do. Sometimes you might want to release and an escape from your real life and just want to shake your head at people. I don't like that. I like things that lift up and, we can feel good about it right after. So this show is Married at First Sight. They're in their 12th season and there's a couple on there. So the premise of the show, if you have not watched Elegant Granny, you don't watch TV, so you don't know the show. Married at First Sight is about total strangers who decided they are tired of the dating world. They are tired of bad relationship after bad relationship, or they just believe that God has opened this platform for them to find their spouse. So they apply to this show to get married at first sight. Exactly what it says. You don't meet the person, you get matched. If you're selected, they find someone that's a good fit for you and they match you. And you literally go shopping for your dress. You shop for that person's because they give you the guy or girl's ring size. You shop for a ring, you shop for your dress. You're making the announcement, I've been selected. I'm going to be a wife. Woo, woo, woo to your family. You're walking around focused on changing your whole life by coming together with someone. It's arranged marriage. Okay. It's another form of arranged marriage. It's just that there are these experts. They go through your profile. And of course, the producers get involved in all that. But they go through your profile. They do background checks. They do all these things. And then they make their selections. Elegant Granny says that sounds like a real bad recipe. Well, oddly enough, because I'm so into the human psyche and the way the mind works and the way people process and how we really deal with the fight, flight, or freeze mode and how we approach challenging situations and can arranged marriages really work. So that intrigues me. So I've been watching for a few seasons. I haven't watched the full thing. It's 12 seasons, but I've watched most of the seasons. Love the show. Love ED. Loved the show. I'm going to finish watching this season because I'm invested and I've been watching season by season for most of the seasons. But after this one, I'm done. Why am I done? Because again, a show based around, the human psyche and how we deal one to another and how we can really create something amazing with an individual we just met, as opposed to, the marriage and the divorce rate is more than 50% for people who date. Right? We date, we get to know each other, we court, we go out, our families are included, friends are included, and we still end up in divorce. Well, maybe I shouldn't say we, because I'm still happily married, 8 years, almost 9 years in. But I am previously divorced also, right? Before this marriage, I was divorced. So we do all of these things, and yet many people still end up in divorce. Well, why? So this show takes the perspective that since the divorce rate is over 50% anyway, doing it the right way, supposedly, well, let's try the arranged marriages. And there are some real success stories. There are many people who have gotten married and, you see their struggles, and it's edited, of course, we know that, but you see their struggles and you see their challenges, but you see them also coming together and creating a bond and really getting to know each other. And many of them, they've had some real successful stories where people that are still married today, been married years, have children, have bought homes, and their families love the new spouse and all this. And they've really, in a balanced way, integrated their lives and really got a blessing, the blessing, which is marriage, which can be marriage. However, for some reason this season, they decided to give it a more reality feel. So there's a couple by the name of Paige and Chris. They got married, and coming in when they first, let the people know, hey, you've been selected. And we're hearing about Chris, and he's talking, and he is literally saying, yeah, I can't wait to get married because I want to reproduce me, basically. I want another me in the world because I'm just so good and so great that I want another me in here. I want a legacy, and I want a wife, and she better be, I want her to be beautiful. What do you say? Beautiful. Oh, submissive. Yeah. I want her to be, I hope she's submissive and a freak in the bed. This is the first time we find out, we meet Chris, and I'm instantly like, no way. You did not select him. Out of the massive pool that I know that there was of men who wanted to be married, This is who you selected for a woman who's coming in and she's like, I love Jesus. Oh, and he loves God too. Oh, and he said, I used to be a minister, but then I realized they didn't pay enough. So I had to go get a regular job and I left. What? This is who you pick? And this girl is, I love God and I just think this is God and God's calling me to this because I was selected and I want to be a mother and I want to be a wife and I want to love a man and love a husband and create a life and yada, 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 and everything else. I'm, really successful and I'm a go-getter, yada, yada, yada. And she is so focused on God calling her to this and her relationship with God. And this is God's doing and God is orchestrating the whole thing. And y'all, now let me just reiterate if you don't know, I love Jesus. I'm going to actually define what love is according to the Bible in about 1 minute. I believe that I am led of God, I am loved of God, and I am liked by God. I believe that. However, I do also know the freedom of choice. I do also know that God gave us this ability to choose what we want, right? And in our ability to choose, sometimes we blame God for things that are not of or from Him. I say that not in judgment. I say that in reality because I've been guilty of it. I have done things in my past and then said, I know God said it. I thought he said it. I felt it. It felt like it was God. I just knew it was God. But yeah, it turned out it wasn't. And so although this young lady is young, she's in her 20s, he's in his 20s, and in your 20s, 20-year-olds, I love y'all. Y'all are beautiful. But all of us 40 plus, 30 plus, we know in our 20s we thought we knew everything and we didn't. We didn't even scratch the surface. We all know that. If we're wise today, we know we didn't scratch the surface. This is a bad representation of God in the fact that, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. God wants our souls to prosper, our mind, our will, and our emotions to prosper. He loves us that much. But the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. This girl is going through already with this guy. Already, also he revealed that he was engaged to another woman a few months before the show. So how are you ready for marriage? It's been months, not a year, not years. How are you ready for a whole wife when you were just engaged? You need time to process, to heal, to learn, to grow from that former relationship. Relationships where it's to the extent that you have proposed to someone, you are going to walk away either wounding someone or walk away with your own wounds or both. You need time to get delivered, to learn, to grow, to heal. That is not enough time. How am I not an expert and I know that? I'm just a viewer. But the experts didn't know that. So they paired the two. Now, not only was he previously engaged just a few months before the show, but now she's found out, well, on their wedding night, they have sex. Remember, she just met him. No judgment. No judgment. Because of her view on marriage, she thinks this is the two becoming one, and this is her wifely duty, even though she just met him. I get it. No judgment. Have sex the first night, have sex the next morning, and then he tells her after he disappears for a couple of hours after supposedly having gone to get breakfast, he tells her that when he returns, she says, what's wrong and why did you disappear? I thought you were going to get breakfast. He's like, I'm just, stressed out. I'm upset. She said, from what? Because I'm not attracted to you. But I had sex with you last night and this morning. So you've already received that bomb. And then after that, now it's been disclosed that he has a baby on the way from his former fiance. All in the name of love. God's going to give me love and God's given me this husband. We have to be very careful of what we blame God for, because we do have a free will. we can choose some stuff, and we can choose some things that are not of God. Now, who am I? I don't know. God could still, because he is omnipotent, all powerful, all knowing, he can still, what the enemy meant for bad, you meant it for bad, but God will turn it around and make it for our good. This could be made for her good. I don't know. I'm not going to curse or condemn or judge, but what I will say is, as we go into defining what love is, I will say that this is not love. I do know that. Um, According to the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others. Stay there, please. Love does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, i.e., love is not selfish. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Y'all heard that? Going to read it again really fast. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So as I have posted this video tonight, I wanted to talk about the truth of love, because we are walking around being hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. We are walking around with the wrong definition of love. We think that love is about me, what I can get from you. Love is you doing for me. I hear so many women and so many men talking about, yeah, I want marriage, or I don't want marriage, but I want a relationship, or I want love. I want love. I want love. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to do this for me. I want somebody. That is not love. You just heard me read the definition. Chris with this, I want a woman that's submissive and a freak in the bed, and walking around talking about all the gifts that he is. He is very boastful. Malcolm and Marie, Malcolm doing anything and everything to defile this woman and disrespect this woman and diminish her worth and her value. That is not love. Love is not fueled in anger or fueled in selfishness. Love does not destroy, disrespect, disregard. Love does not curse. There are many people out here who say they walk in love, but they're in the pulpit causing division amongst God's children. Well, this person doesn't come to my church, so y'all stay away from them. Love does not separate. Love is not selfish. Love is not self-serving. Love is not causing dissension. That's not love. Love is not a man whom you're with, or a woman who does any and everything to control you, to silence you. Love is not, I'm going to use the scripture against you to make you do what I want you to do. That's not love. Love is not this gratifying, self-gratifying, self-grandizing, I'm better than you, so you should love me. I'm better than you, so I can tell you how to live, tell you what to do. Love is you pointing the person in the direction of someone who can help them. Love is you building that person up when they're weak. Love is forgiveness, but love is not foolishness. It's not folly. Love is not me being a victim. God does not want me to be victimized. God does not. Elegant Granny says, please talk about it, because it's definitely not. Exactly, girl. Love is not the church, your parents, your friends, your spouse telling you, if you loved me, you would do. If you loved God, you would do. Love is, I see you in error and I come to help you. Love is, I want to pour into you, not see what I can get from you. And when I don't, then I totally destroy you. That's not love. And God is love. So, how do we say that we love when we don't walk according to how God walks? How do we say we love when our mission is to destroy those who are not giving and being a carpet and a doormat for us to walk on? How do we say we love when we will use the very things that we know a person is dealing with and use it to our advantage to diminish their value? How do we say we love when we victimize people? How? Love is truth. And before we can fully operate in love, we have to walk in truth with who we are, whose we are, and how we want to show up in this world. Narcissism is real, y'all. Narcissism is running rampant in our households, with spouses, with parents to children, with pastors to congregations, with doctors to patients, with teachers to students. Any of those situations where you think there is a superior role, there's an opportunity for narcissism. And of course, people who are led can also be narcissistic. Of course, you can. You can be a follower and be narcissistic and try to cause division within ministries. You absolutely can be one of those people. You can be a congregant trying to cause division to get the control away from the pastor. That's narcissism too. You can be a wife because the man is supposedly the head of the house according to the Bible. I don't say supposedly as if I question that. I say supposedly because I'm seeing what's going on in the world. He is supposed to be the head of the wife, and Christ is the head of both of them. But you could be a wife and be narcissistic. You can be using passive aggressive methods to control a husband. You can be a child that throws temper tantrums and withholds love to try to control the parent. Narcissism goes both ways, but it is the most prominent and prevalent as it relates to leadership roles, as it relates to the man in the house. I'm going to beat on my chest and you do you submit. But if we walk in the truth, we learn that even as it relates to the husband, yes, the Bible tells us, wives, submit to your own husbands, but it also says, you got to read now. And I don't want to misquote it. I'm going to tell you what I think it says, but then I'm going to look it up too. The Bible tells us, wives, submit to your husbands. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. So much so that he gave his life for it. Okay, that's what I think it says, and I'm trying to find the actual scripture. Ephesians 5:25. The scripture says, well, let's go to 5. Wait, I thought that was 5. Why did it just go to 4? Okay, Ephesians 5. Okay, here we go. It says in Ephesians 5:21, submit to one another out of your reverence for Christ. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do the Lord. For the husband is the head. I talked about the man being the head, the husband, not the man, but the husband being the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Immediately following that, 5:25, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. For he who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church. So I'm not going to go any deeper. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, so much so that he gave his life for it. If a husband, when this guy is talking about, I want a woman that submits, well, are you going to love her like Christ loved the church, so much so that he gave his life for it. What that means is, are you going to silence your ego? Die to your ego, giving your life for something. Die to your selfishness. Are you going to put her first? Are you going to love her as you love your own body? That body that you're walking in all this, I'm fine. That's how he is. This dude is something else. But he's walking around and he's arrogant. Are you going to love her to take care of her before you take care of yourself? Dying to self. That's what the scripture tells us. So love is truth. It is operating in the truth. It is not self-seeking. Love is giving more than it is receiving. Now, here's the other part of that. Love, although we should forgive and all these things, the Bible tells us, it talks about infidelity, and God does not want you in danger. He doesn't want some person beating up on you. He doesn't want someone speaking down to you. Yes, you can go get counseling. You can go through all these things that if that person wants help, all of that, kudos to you. But what I am never going to do is sit before any camera, any phone, any person and say, if someone is every day beating you to the ground, if they're cheating on you, you just take it. That's real love. That is not real love. That is the opposite of real love. That is selfishness. And that's honestly what I think the opposite of love is. That's really now that's me. A lot of people say the opposite of love is fear. Perfect love casts out fear. I know the scripture, okay? But I'm talking about the opposite of real love is generally selfishness, because someone is showing up being selfish. Someone is showing up wanting their needs and their needs only met. Someone is showing up thinking about how their life can be better and not considering yours. Whether it's they are cheating on you and you're being just embarrassed by the neighborhood. You live in a house and next door he's sleeping with someone, or down the street, or he's sleeping with people at the job or at the church or wherever he's doing or she's doing, because it's not always men. I don't want y'all to think that. They're on both sides, okay? She's walking around sleeping with your cousin, your best friend. You can't trust her. There's no peace. That ain't love. That is not love. Can you make the decision that I'm going to hang in there and work with this person, a person who actually wants healing, a person who actually wants to be delivered? Gotta go. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I'm about to wrap up really fast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was so good to see you. I'm so happy. Have a good, wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoy Valentine's Day if you celebrate it. But love is not abusive. You can make the decision, a wise decision with all the information based on what God is telling you to do. And if that person really wants help, then yeah, you can be there. You can do whatever. Walk in the wisdom of God, okay? Because what I don't want, and so many people do it, they stay there one day too many. They stay there one day and then the next day their family's looking for them and they've been killed. And that's the truth of domestic violence. And that person is controlling them with this concept of love. That person is controlling them with money. All of these things are not love. God doesn't want that. God doesn't want you abused. God doesn't want you misused. God doesn't want someone that's going to hover over you and be subservient to you and you're the dirt of the ground. There are too many scriptures that focus on our identity and all that we are in God, the blessing that we are, the creation that we are. There are too many scriptures about that. Please learn what love is. Walk in the truth of love. Love is not control. Love is not someone putting their mouth on you to curse you because you didn't give them or didn't do for them what they wanted or expected. Love is not someone making you feel less than so that they can feel like they're amazing and grand. That is not love. Love is not misleading. Love is giving you the full truth and letting you make the decision of what you want in your life. Love is this thing that God encompasses. He is love. He created us in love. He loved us so much that he gave his son. He loves us every day to give us grace, to give us hope and the hope of the future. And he loves us so much that he gives us peace within the midst of the storm. He loves us so much that he gives us second, third, fourth, 3,000 chances. He loves us so much that we can fall from grace and still he will give us more grace. That is love. But love is not even me constantly walking away from God and constantly doing things that are contrary to the word and then coming back saying, I love him. That ain't love either. That's not love. So all of these things that we constantly see in the world, whether we're watching movies or we're watching relationships or we're in relationships with churches, and I keep bringing up church because I bring up church, I bring up relationships, I bring up families and friendships because that's what we do, right? These are the ways of the world. This is what we do every day. We have to be really careful about who we give dominion over our lives. Because if the person is not healed, delivered, and set free, they will use that kind of liberty and leadership ability to control us. And now we're operating in a way that's beneath what God wants for us. That's in a household, that's with your parents, that's with your spouse, that's with friendships. I have had some horrific friendships where folks wanted to control who I was even friends with. That ain't God. That's not love. I can stop being friends with people. I was in an organization and it started going down a different path. And I was like, this is not God for me. I knew I needed to make a change. And I left the organization. I sent a resignation letter. I tried to do it the right way. And because the person who was over it didn't get what they want, I suffered some backlash. I had every opportunity to defend myself. I'm going to let people know what really happened. And yet, when people came to me, there were two situations where people came to me in my Facebook and asked me what I thought about this organization because they wanted to be a part of it. I gave them honest feedback. I told them how the organization does great things for the communities and this and that, and how they could be a contributing factor. I told them to pray about it, ask God first. I left because it was the best thing for me to do at the time. I'm moving on to do other things. I never once put my mouth on that organization with new people. Now, a couple of people who were going through some things and saw things, they knew the real story, but that wasn't even me putting my mouth on them. That was they knew the real story. But I don't separate from people, separate from things, and then try to curse the person or try to curse the thing. No, go with God. Real love, when we really learn to operate in love, we're not manipulative. We don't want to curse people. We don't want to control people. We don't want to hurt people. Real love is giving people freedom. That's what God does for us. He gives us all the information. He pulls on our spirit to get to know us, to let us know that he loves us. But he gives us all the information. He tells us who we are, who he is, and all these things. And then he steps back and lets us decide. That's real love. Love is not controlling. It's not divisive. It's not manipulative. And that, my dears, is the truth. So I know it's right before Valentine's Day and y'all like, oh, love is. It's going to be a fun topic. Love can be fun. Love can be amazing. It can be so incredible to feel and to experience, but it must be felt and it must come from individuals who know the truth of what love is first. Before you get all that joy and all that peace and all the building up and, someone really pouring into your life and wanting what's best for you, you have to walk in the truth of what love is, and they have to also. So thank you for watching. It has been a 43-minute live. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you apply love. And if you are single and tomorrow is Valentine's Day, not tomorrow, Sunday is Valentine's Day, who cares? Girl, love yourself. Boy, love yourself. Yes, we're still in this pandemic. Celebrate you. Do a live. Invite some singles to the live so y'all can just hang out and kick it and, listen to music or, well, you can't really do that. But whatever it is that you want to do, play games, have game night, enjoy yourself. Remind yourself of why you're so lovable. Read a book, write a poem, write a song, write a movie, write a plan for your life, whatever it is you want to do. You are lovable. You are worthy, whether single or married. Me being married does not make me better, okay? It does not make me more capable of love. It does not make me It doesn't make me better. I'll just leave it at that. You are in God's eyes just as beautiful, wonderful, and uh, you are just as beautiful, wonderful, and capable as any married person. And you won't be any more beautiful, capable, or wonderful just because you're married. Okay. So enjoy. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. If you celebrate Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. If you don't, happy weekend. Enjoy, be safe, be wise, walk in wisdom. And until next time, do one thing to come out of your shell, because there is no fun in the restrictions of a shell. Bye, bye, girl. Bye, boy. Bye. I know I'm a little off, y'all. I'm still healing. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.